Welcome to English Grammar and Writing Skills course of EduPorm EdTech. You're watching the video with Manisha Bedi and the topic for the video is subject-verb agreement. So today we are going to talk about subject-verb agreement. This is one of the most necessary thing whenever you're talking about any kind of sentence where you need to change the forms of the verb according to the subject. Okay. So here what basically happens is that the use of the verb, the use of the verb according to the number and the person of the subject according to the number and the person of the subject is known as subject verb agreement. Is known as subject verb agreement. So here you see that the verb is being used according to the number and the person of the given subject. Now we are going to talk about some of the rules, some of the rules or some of the specifications related to this. Like first of all, I will say that if two subjects, if two subjects are linked by as well as or with, or along with or together with, and not, or in addition to, but, besides, except, rather than, accompanied by, like, unlike, no less than, or nothing but. Now if any of these subjects are linked by these kinds of words like as well as, along with, together with, and not, or in addition to, but, besides, except, rather than, accompanied by, like, unlike, no less than, nothing but, then what happens? Then the form of the verb, is according to the first subject. So you have to remember these things. So whenever you are specifying or talking about any sentence which has two subjects and those two subjects are linked with any of these mentioned words, in that case the form of the verb to be used should be according to the first subject. Let's say for example, Ram and his brother do not take care of their grandfather. Ram and his brother do not take care of their grandfather. This is the first instinct which would come to your mind, whenever you have to specify any sentence like this. But what is the correct form? The correct form will be Ram and his brother do not take care of his grandmother. there will be substituted by his, because the sentence has two subjects, and if any sentence has two subjects, then we change the form of the verb according to, we make the agreement according to the first subject. Okay, so remember this thing. Now the above sentence said of their grandmother, so it is the wrong one, and instead of it you have to use his, which, and his comes according to the first subject, that is Ram. Okay, now let's talk about the second use. If two subjects are linked by, now linked by neither or nor, again either or not only but also, or cases like nor, none, or but. Okay, so if any two subjects are linked by any of these, then in that case the form of the verb used here, okay, then the form of the verb used here is according to the nearer subject. Obviously, whenever you are making out the sentences, in that case one subject happens to be much more nearer and one will be the farther subject. Okay, let's say for example, neither Ram nor his friends has come, or neither Ram nor his friends have come. So if you see here, the second form of the sentence is correct, because the use of verb, the form of the verb used here is has or have. Okay, so this has or have is basically gonna be used according to the nearer subject. Now out of these two, one is Ram and another one is his friends. There are two subjects given here, one subject and this is the second subject. So out of these two, which one of them is the nearer subject? The nearer subject is the first one, that is the Ram. So the verb, the form of the verb used here will be explicitly designed and will be accordingly to the nearer subject, that is Ram, that is to the first subject. Okay, so it will be neither Ram nor his friends have come. So this is the correct one, while this is the wrong form. Okay, now let's talk about the third one. The third one is that the singular verb is used with collective noun. Now what is singular verb? Like let's say for example, if you're using is a singular verb while are is a plural verb. Okay, so always remember that whenever you are talking about collective noun, in that case singular verb is going to be used. Okay, now let's say for example, there are swarm of bees collecting the nectar. Okay, and in another case there is swarm of bees collecting the nectar. Okay, so if you watch out these both sentences, you will understand that they have made use of collective noun, that is swarm of bees. Swarm of bees is a collective noun. Okay, so swarm of bees is a collective noun, and with collective noun you always make use of a singular verb. So are is a plural verb and is a singular verb. So you have to remember this, and you'll always have to make sure that you are using singular verb along with the collective noun. So there is swarm of bees collecting their nectar. This one will be the correct form. Okay. Although whenever you are making sentences or talking sentences like this, then at that moment this might hit your mind that you're talking about more than one bee. So let's use are. Okay, but in that case always remember that collective nouns makes use of singular verb. Okay, now we are going to talk about the fourth rule, that is whenever you are making use of each or every or one, neither, either, okay, neither, either, etc., you basically use a plural noun okay. Now each, every, one, neither, either, etc. use plural noun after them, but it is basically followed by singular verb. Now what does this mean to state? This means to state that let's talk about any of the sentences, and in that sentences whenever you are talking about each or every or one or neither or either, obviously you are going to talk about more than one noun. Okay, and that is that you are basically going to use plural noun. Okay, so use of each, every, one, neither, either, all of these are done with the plural noun, but again this plural noun makes use of singular verb. Okay, after each or every or these kinds of words, plural noun will come, but after plural noun it will be followed by a singular verb. Okay, let's say for example, if I have to say that one of his books are stolen. Okay, or in another way I would say that one of his books is stolen. Now which one of them is correct and which one of them is incorrect? This one is the correct form and this one is incorrect. Why? Because again in this case whenever you're making use of one of his books, here you proceeded towards the plural noun. What is this? Books is a plural noun. So after plural noun comes the singular verb. Always remember this, that after plural noun comes the singular verb. And which kinds of plural noun? Which kinds of plural noun will come after these words? So the words can be each, can be in the form of each or every or one or neither or either. In all of these cases, if you understand, you will see that after these words we basically make use of plural noun, and after plural noun you must remember that singular verb is to be used to complete the sentence. Okay, do not, I repeat that, do not make use of plural verb in these sentences, just seeing the plural noun. Okay, like a books, like they have specified books, that means you're gonna use are. No. Okay, you have to remember that there you're gonna use is. Okay, now let's talk about the fifth rule. Okay, fifth rule. Now fifth one says that sentences which are basically expressing imaginary wishes. Okay, now sentences which basically talks about imaginary wishes, okay, or let's say supposition, we make use of, in all of these cases we make use of plural verbs. Okay, in all of these cases what do? Is we make use of plural verbs. Okay, let's say for example, I wish I was a queen, or I wish I were a queen. In both of the sentences mean the same thing. Okay, but But again, if you see that these sentences basically expresses an imaginary wish or imaginary supposition where I wish that I was a queen. Okay, so it won't be in the form of I was a queen. Okay, I was is a singular verb. Okay, was is a singular verb, while were is a plural verb. Okay, so in sentences where we make use of imaginary wishes or supposition, in that case make sure that you're using plural verbs. Okay, now let's understand the sixth rule. Plural verbs is used with a number of. Okay, whenever you are making use of a number of, in that case plural verbs is used, while singular verb is used with the number of. Okay, so remember this thing, that whenever you're talking about a number of, then you're going to make use of plural verb, but when you're talking about the number of, in that case you're going to make use of singular verb. Okay, now let's say for example a number of students was or were present. Try identifying the correct one. Or the number of students appearing for exams has or have decreased. Okay, now these are two examples given to you. The first one says that a number of students, first one makes use of a number of students, the second one makes use of, a number of students is the first one, second one is the number of students. Okay, now let's read out the whole sentence. A number of students was or were present. Okay, you have to choose one of them, you have to choose the correct form. In the second sentence says the number of students appearing for exams has or have decreased. Okay, so again let's follow our rule. The rule says that whenever you're talking about oh, I'm really sorry. So whenever you're talking about a number of so in that case you are going to make sure that you use plural verbs. Okay, so a number of students were present, that is the correct form. And whenever you're talking about the number of, in that case you are going to make use of singular verb. So it will be that the number of students appearing for exams has decreased. The number of students appearing for exams has decreased. So this one is going to be the correct form. Now let's talk about the seventh rule. Now whenever you are dealing with universal facts, or let's say any habitual action, okay, habitual action, idioms and phrases, always use singular verb. Okay, always use singular verb. Why? Because all of these are written in the present tense. Okay, the use of idioms and phrases, or it is or when you're expressing any habitual action, or whenever you're talking about an universal facts, in all of these cases they basically you make use of, you have to remember that you are making use of singular verb. Why? Because all of these are in present tense. Okay, let's say for example, death is inevitable. Death is inevitable. Okay, or honesty is the best policy. okay, or the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Okay, now in all of these three sentences you will see that they have made use of singular verb. Okay, is, rises or sets, these all are the singular verb. Why? Because all of these examples, either they're expressing universal fact or habitual action or idioms and phrases. Okay, and all of these three are basically written in present tense. Okay, so this will make use of singular verb. So I hope the subject verb agreement part is very much clear to you. In the next video I am going to deal with some of the questions related to verbs.